Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back down under the mat. We are here with a special episode for you today. We are doing our review of Backlash St. Louis.
St. Louis?
Louis.
St. Louis.
Oui. No, we'll be doing that in a couple of months at Clash in Paris.
Yeah, it is Clash in Paris, isn't it?
Oui.
And that's we're gonna get those the chants.
Illes Ramond.
I can't remember what the words
La,
were.
la, la, la. La, 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 la. That's all you need to remember. Anyway, back on topic.
You can put AJ Styles in there, can't they? Have to, surely.
Oh, they gotta. They have to.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Whatever
match,
whatever match they do.
Yeah.
Whether he's going against John Cena, because I've seen that they're going to be doing a lot of like throwback feuds. So Sheamus,
okay.
I think Seth Rollins, AJ Styles is on the list.
I think there's one.
I wouldn't mind seeing Roman Cena again one last time.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get a run around. I think there's one that's coming up that comes out of this pay per view because as you notice, we're talking about anything but Backlash because it was pretty mid, to be fair, and
nothing surprised me except for
defend
something
it,
at
Reece.
Nothing surprised me. I'm not really going to defend it because everything was expected. The results, there was nothing that shocked me with the results. So that gives you a whole picture in and of itself.
This was an epitome of a Triple H B grade PLE.
Yeah, one that makes the crowd happy because all the favorites won.
Yeah, I guess.
All the favorites won.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, some people would say a couple of the favourites didn't win. One of the betting favourites didn't win. That's for sure. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right, kicking it off. First match of the night, the Fatal 4-Way for your United States Championship. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, LA Knight, and Fatu. Great match. One thing I want to call out from the start, people calling... We want tables. It's first match of the night, guys. And like within 5 minutes, we want tables. Like we get it's a multi-man match. There's no disqualifications, but at no point did they need weapons in that match to have a good match. And they put on a good match. They had a good match. I mean, it could help.
We did get later on in the match towards the ending sequence, a South of Heaven threw some tables.
Now, I asked you the question, was this the same table spot that Priest and Bad Bunny had 2 years ago at Backlash?
Possibly, but I don't remember.
But I don't think... No, that was a Falcon Arrow. He definitely Falcon Arrowed him through the tables.
Yeah, okay. That's
not
a little
the South of Heaven.
Well, with the Falcon's Arrow, I reckon he could have protected Bad Bunny a little better.
Yeah, whereas
like,
this just
when you tuck him, you're holding their neck.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
and this was just taking him and Priest.
I'm a trained professional. I just know.
One day we'll get you into that slam ring, mate.
We will.
Yeah.
Maybe
sponsored by Prime.
Drink Prime.
Because we've had a couple of open tryouts. Yeah. I did tag you in it the other week and you ignored it.
See, like my concern was I didn't want to go do wrestling training before my trip to Japan, which is you won't see a podcast live and in living colour of me in 2 weeks because I'll be in Japan.
So please,
I didn't want to injure myself before I went over.
Oh, that's a valid point. Okay.
So once I get back, I'm trying to make some personal changes as well, be a little healthier, get in a bit of better shape, and then I'll commit.
Well, in the comments,
we'll film a bunch of content.
Give us some ideas for content that you want before Reece goes to Japan. See what videos we can throw out for you, or let's see what videos you want Reece to film for us in Japan. Because I don't think you're going to get to a wrestling show.
No, if we didn't go to Disney Sea, I could have gone to Marigold.
Priorities, Reece.
Yes, I've never been to Disney Sea, so
you've also never been to a Marigold before either.
Yes, I know. But the weird thing is, I was like, oh yeah, we can just go to Disney Sea in the morning for a few hours, have a look around, and then go to the wrestling show. No, Japan does shows at like 2:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, like their wrestling stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
I looked up the times. It was like, I think it was 2:30 gates, 3 o'clock for
that's early.
showtime. And I was like, ooh, definitely can't make that. Anyway.
Back to Backlash.
Yes, multi-man matches. We've said it many, many times on the podcast. They are great at pacing these matches very well.
Yeah.
Spots flowing very smoothly. One thing that we do want to call out, commentary team mentioning Jacob Fatu going to jail and making it part of his character. Kind of crazy to think about, because usually when people have felonies and have that sort of stuff happen, they kind of just like push it away, don't mention it on TV, but they're making it part of Jacob's character.
Well, I mean, also, even if you talk a couple of weeks ago, a lot of the rumors around Lex Luger not getting in the Hall of Fame until now was because of his jail time and the stuff that he had, that happened to him. And unsubstantiated or not, there was rumored heat about his Hall of Fame acceptance speech where he was talking about going to jail and the father and stuff helping him out of it and stuff, and like people didn't like that. And yet now, a couple of weeks later, you've got Michael Cole saying that Jacob Fatu went to prison and got so tough that he'd never want to go back there again, and that's what you're saying on the pay-per-view about his match. So I don't know which way to read into it. I think it's a good part of his character. Like you've said since day one when he came in, was that the story was that Roman and the Bloodline didn't want Jacob because he was too dangerous and he was too wild and they couldn't control him, and then Solo went and did it, and that's why they went against Solo. To put that character arc of Jacob being, he was too crazy because he was in jail. And we know what jail can do to people. Look at Dominic Mysterio. So you've then obviously got that part now as like an extra sort of feather in his cap to what his crazy character can be like. And I think it works and it suits him. Just plays off on that real badass angle that he has.
Oh, absolutely. One sequence that we have to discuss, because you saw it. Drew was tied up in the Tree of Woe, and he's going to flip Jacob, because Jacob Fatu's on the top rope.
And LA Knight's in the middle of the ring, on the ground, on the floor.
Drew sits up, grabs Jacob, flips him off. He hits a moonsault on LA Knight. He then gives Drew McIntyre the hip attack in the corner. Mm-hmm. He then bounces off the ropes and does a tope suicida to Damian Priest on the outside. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we got the finisher fest, where we got a South of Heaven, we got a BFT, we got a Claymore. So and then everyone's just laid out in the middle of the ring.
Because that spot was what I loved. That was so perfectly timed, was that you had Jacob, I think he hit the hip attack on Drew and then went back off the ropes, turned around, LA Knight hits him with the BFT. LA gets up, and then Damien gets him for the South of Heaven, and then he turns around into a Claymore.
And then Damien falling into the pin on LA Knight after the Claymore.
So good.
Oh, just that whole 60 seconds where all of that chaos happened. Amazing. Absolutely love it. We move on to our aforementioned South of Heaven through the tables. That was to Drew McIntyre. Mm-hmm. So Drew hit a Claymore a little later after that amazing sequence and goes for the pin. Damian Priest drags the ref out of the ring, costs Drew McIntyre another championship. And then they just brawl, they go out, and there's some conspicuously placed tables next to some rigging and some boxes, and they climb up.
All very conveniently covered with nice black material.
Like they always are, and South of Heaven off the table.
It's a big drop, though.
Yeah. It was, especially for two big guys like that.
It was a solid chokeslam through that. So that obviously writes the two of them out for the rest of the match.
Yeah.
Then you get back towards the ring.
And it's just Jacob and LA Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And then Solo makes an appearance.
Because was LA going for a chair or something? Why was LA outside? I can't remember that part of the match.
I think, he was going for a chair.
And that's when Solo stopped him near the announcer's table.
Yeah. And then Jeff Cobb has arrived in the WWE.
I thought he retired, Reece.
He put the post up himself. And this is why, because last week on the podcast when we discussed it, you never say never in wrestling. And I said, unless this is all a big work.
And you got worky McWork face, brother.
I got worked.
So badly.
Because throughout the week, after we did the recording last week, everyone was like, rumor is Jeff Cobb's showing up at Backlash. And I was like, what do you mean? He just announced his retirement on Twitter. And it was just every day I'd see an article about it.
Yep. Worky McWork-faced.
Yeah.
He looks good. Obviously, this is the tension that they sowed here was that Solo has gotten Jeff to come and help out. And Jacob was like, what are you doing? I didn't ask for this. I don't need this. What are you doing?
The blank stares and the...
But it helped because he flattened LA Knight against the ring post. They roll him into the ring. Jacob hits
the moonsault.
Moonsault 1, 2, 3. He retains his title.
Boom, done.
I think that this this match was really fun. It had some really fun spots in the middle where they all played different parts and they all hit their finishes, and the sequences in this match were really nice. Storyline wise, I think that I'm hoping we don't go back to Priest and Drew, although that seems like
seems like it's going to happen.
Down. I was kind of hoping that they would put more tension between LA Knight and Damien, which they kind of did on the SmackDown when they were tagging together. I was hoping they'd go off and have a match. And I think this is going to set the Solo and Jacob stuff up, because like what you said to me when Jeff Cobb showed up, you're like, well, Jeff Cobb's here so that they can move Jacob out of the bloodline. And I think he's the clear replacement for him in that sort of segment. And obviously we're still waiting for the Tamatonga and Tonga Loa to come back too.
Yeah, because Tonga Loa was recovering. And from what I remember reading late last year, it was due back mid this year.
I think both of them due back shortly.
And then, Tamatonga's now injured and he's recovering as well.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see all of them on TV in the next couple of weeks together as this Bloodline 2.0. But maybe...
Well, it's 2.1 now, isn't it? Jeff Cobb coming in.
Yeah, I guess, 2.5. You've added an extra bit to it.
Yeah, what you do with like drafting documents.
The point one, point two. Edit.
Yeah.
Edit. Yeah. How do you go, signing Jeff Cobb and throwing him straight onto a pay-per-view when you've had Hikuleo for 12 months and you still...
What are they doing with Hikuleo? Oh my God. And I've seen that comment several times on social media with those posts I've seen through the week and now post Backlash on social media as well. It's like, why bring Jeff Cobb in when we've got Hikuleo though? What's wrong with Hikuleo?
I don't know. Maybe they've got a different story for him. Remember though.
Who knows? Moving on to the second match of the night.
20 steps ahead.
20 steps ahead. Moving on to the second match of the night. The Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria, a.k.a. Bird Person. And this was a pretty decent match. I think we maybe got a little distracted during the match at some other stuff. But
we were opening too many cards we
were playing WWE Slams.
Slam cards. I think, look, this was a good match.
Yeah.
I think that what sort of took me out of it was that I didn't care for it until they started to get towards the finish because I'm not overly invested in either of them as a feud, but what Becky has done for Lyra in the last couple of weeks has made her 1,000 times better than she was before.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So my expectation was, well, now we just give the title to Becky and then Becky runs a heel until you build Lyra back up to win it back. That was kind of I was going, this is what's going to happen. Not what happened. But the sequences in this match and the way that they work together over and over again got better and better.
Yeah.
The 2 manhandle slams she kicked out of.
Yes.
Becky kicked out of the
Nightwing.
The Nightwing. So they were obviously doing a bunch of finishes they were kicking out of. At the start of the match, Lyra was putting her in submission after submission, which looked really good.
Yeah, I did note that down. Like, just the consistent, the way that she transferred from like hanging, swing, and then into the surfboard, and then like Becky reversed that into a pin.
It was a really well worked match. I was just waiting for the finish, I guess, for this. And then I think the other thing that we were both talking about was Bayley. They talked about her in the pre-show. They talked about her in the video package. Becky's whole heel promo was, I took out Bayley. Bayley and Lyra were best friends before WrestleMania. Nothing. So I was sitting there the whole time, and then
the exposed turnbuckle came into play, and the fact that because that is what caused Becky to kick out of the Nightwing. Because Jessica Carr went to get the turnbuckle to put it back on, and then she hit the Nightwing, went for the pin, and she's like, "Oh,
which one am I doing?"
Threw it down and went to count. Nah, and then having that exposed, it sets the expectation, and maybe that's why they didn't end up using that for the finish to use it as a red herring, because everyone can see that it's exposed, and they had that corner shot camera angle where you have the exposed turnbuckle, and then they've got everyone else in the ring. They made a point of the fact that, it's still there. Like, it's got to come into play at some point, but it didn't.
Well, I also think your point, too, was that when Jessica was trying to fix the turnbuckle and then, shit, I've got to get the pin, 1, 2, 3, and then she kicked out, she never went back to the turnbuckle, which kind of makes me think that was the whole point, was that was the only reason they did that spot was for the distraction for that 2 count, because it was never going to get used again. Because otherwise, there's no logic behind the ref going 1, 2, I kicked out. All right, I better put the turnbuckle back on now. Better fix that. Yeah. She didn't. So I think that was just all storytelling. Look, the finish was roll up. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Lyra got the count.
It's not the worst roll-up finish that I've seen, but I think for me it kind of ruined it because I had that expectation of the turnbuckle coming into play.
Yes.
Or Bayley coming into play.
Yes. Or a ref bump or anything, or a finisher or something along those lines. Then, obviously it happened really quickly, so then Becky just turns around, starts beating on Lyra and sort of punches her up, sticks her in the disarmer.
Yeah.
And then everyone runs out, and I'm like, cool, so here comes Bayley for the save.
No.
All right, well, surely someone else
comes out. Becky starts walking back. Oh, surely she just comes back to attack and then someone else comes out.
Yeah.
Like, right? No.
No.
She just walked out the back. It was very... And I feel like they had that happen with a couple of matches tonight where they had that sort of delayed ending. Like, it was sort of setting the tension for that. And we'll touch on the other ones very shortly. But...
I think, look,
maybe it's just us marks overbooking.
Oh, we always overbook. It was a good match. They in ring, they were both really good, which is what we know Becky and Lyra could do.
Yeah.
But I think that they left too much story out there. And even though we overbook everything, I think they underbooked this finish. So I think that, look, it probably leads to another match between the two of them. It might go on for a feud for the next pay-per-view or a Saturday night's main event.
I don't think this is it, especially after that attack, but...
No, and I agree. That's
what
but like, I just don't see why you have to extend it.
Yeah, Bayley has to come into play at some point.
Does she though?
Maybe after Becky wins the title, she comes into play, and then we get a Becky Bayley feud for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, possibly. Except your mate Jonathan Coachman reckons Bayley should be dropped and it's terrible.
I was waiting to bring that up.
Stupid Coachman.
Let me find that comment.
You are an absolute moron. Oh, Bayley's not working. She's one of the 4 horsewomen, mate. She did more in her WWE career and she's not even finished than Coach ever did in his career.
Okay, must be on Instagram.
Numpty. I'm pretty sure it was on our Instagram chat that he sent it through to me for me to get fired up for it, just for this part of the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Why else would I do that? Here we go. Jonathan Coachman commenting on Bayley. Bayley is done. She's washed. She's boring. She's nothing anymore. If you dropped Bayley off the roster today, what would we lose?
We'd lose Bayley.
That's rough. And that comes mere weeks after I said that she's better than Sasha and Charlotte.
Yeah. Well, look, this isn't a Bayley lover podcast, but maybe we'll have to turn into one.
Yeah. Give her the respect she deserves.
She's the leader of the women's locker room. She took herself out of WrestleMania for Becky, for someone else, knowing, and then still did the whole week of media all the way up to the point knowing she was going to get shafted. To say that she's washed is ridiculous. Shut up, Coachman, you idiot.
Idiot. It's a bit of a stretch, mate. Moving on to the third match of the night, the other Intercontinental Championship.
Oh, before you move to that quickly, just the Becky Lyra match was the second longest match on the card.
Second longest?
Yep. It was 18:45.
Ooh,
nearly 20 minutes.
Not bad. I'm not going to say it stretched out because I don't think it did stretch out at all.
No, I think that match flowed quick enough. I don't think there was any, unlike the main event where there was a while. But I think their match, they had some moves and they had some moments at the start where they kind of felt each other out, and then there was a lot of
Becky calling out Lyra's fiance at ringside as she's attacking
that
Lyra.
was fun.
Mint, loved it.
But when they'd hit finishes, they're like, oh no, they didn't get it. And then they'd sit there for 30 seconds to them. It didn't feel that long in their match.
No.
It kind of flowed through. Whereas the main event, someone hit a finisher and then I was like, 3 minutes until we do something.
We move on to Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. Zero Miedo.
Or as Dominic likes to call him, Papa Smurf.
Papa Smurf. Yeah, he was in all blue today. Which was...
No, but it's not Papa Smurf because Papa Smurf has the red hat. Was Penta's mask red? No, it was just all blue, right?
Yeah, but
so
he was
just
blue.
he was just a Smurf then. He's not Papa Smurf.
Yeah. You don't have to overanalyze.
No, I do.
Why?
Because if you're going to call out him being a Smurf, don't call him out the one Smurf that's not fully
was he
blue
wearing
in
a
colour.
white mask? Yeah. No, because then he's not an actual Smurf. Because Smurfs have white hats, and then Papa Smurf has the red hat
and the red pants.
Yeah, but he was just all blue, which is what Smurfs are. Under all their clothes and their hats, they just
could have called him Avatar.
Oh, that's worse. Absolutely worse. These two had a great match. One thing that I didn't quite comprehend at the time until I saw some posts about it on social media. Mm-hmm. Dominic hit a tope suicida DDT.
Yes, that would look great.
That was amazing. I can't believe I completely glazed over that while we were watching.
Wade Barrett was frothing all over it. He said it was the best DDT he's ever seen. Ever. And Wade Barrett has seen
roast me in the comments about this. One thing I absolutely loved was Dom hitting the Oblivion. Mm-hmm. Loved that. Mm-hmm. And
big fan.
I think he might have hit it better.
Controversial, but I can't really argue with you. It's probably a lot easier to hit when you don't have blonde hair everywhere. And
yeah.
There's a lot of mess.
Yeah. A Mexican destroyer on the apron to Pentagon as well.
Yes, that was fun spot.
And then, of course, as with all Judgment Day related matches, the Judgment Day came out. We had Carlito, JD McDonagh, and Finn Balor. And as Finn Balor grabs the steel chair and goes to attack
first of all, they've got Penta, and McDonagh's holding him, and Finn's about to punch him. And he's like, actually, no, hang on a second.
He goes grab the chair.
But that is going to be pivotal because that was what caused enough time for the referee to see them, to eject them.
You're out of here.
And so if Finn had just whacked him,
maybe
just whack him, roll him in the ring, we're done. Judgment Day.
If he had just whipped some brass knuckles out of his trunks, that would have been much easier. No, I had to grab a chair.
And then he got caught.
This slow sabotage of the Judgment Day by Finn. Very slow burning story right now. And
I'm liking it though.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how it's going to reach its pinnacle and come crumbling apart.
But it wasn't the Judgment Day.
It was not the Judgment Day
that caused it. So Penta gets to the top rope, Dom's down. And who shows up?
El Grande Americano.
Greatest luchador of all time.
The hero of the Gulf of America. And America as a whole.
Are they still saying that?
I don't know.
Okay.
They were still saying it on commentary the other week.
So. Okay. All right. We'll stick to it.
We'll just roll with it.
Just nice headbutt, boom, with the loaded mask. Yeah. Down goes Penta.
Boom, frog splash, done. 1, 2, 3.
Greatest Intercontinental Champion ever.
Ever.
Pretty
greatest Mysterio of all time.
It's hard to argue, really.
It really is. And we are mere weeks into this championship reign. Mm-hmm. And it's going to go on for years. Years and years. Longer than Gunther's reign.
I think it'd be a dynasty by the end of it.
Oh, absolutely. A 10-year Intercontinental Championship reign. Pencil it in right now. Anything else
Mate, if he makes 6 months, I will laugh hysterically. I love Dom, but you're not holding his title for that long.
Oh, I do love his antics outside, like when he's doing interviews and stuff.
Oh, the stuff with Big E and stuff was great.
The post-show when they're doing the interview and like he's watching his match back and he's like, yeah, you'd be the worst commentator ever. Oh, there's El Grande Americano. And then Big E's like, well, like, how did you line that one up with El Grande? And he's like, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, what are you talking
about? El Grande's right there. I'm like, I didn't see him.
Just didn't even know it happened.
Nailed it. Loved it.
I just took advantage. Just hit my frog splash. That's all I did.
Yeah. Next match, which possibly disappointed us a little bit. Pat versus Gunther.
Yeah, possibly.
I think we expected more by way of chops.
I expected Pat to be like bleeding from the chest. Yes. I expected more damage from Gunther. And you clearly said it during the match, was that it seemed like Gunther was holding back. And
he didn't have to go ham on him the entire match.
No,
but
he
just got like a couple of like his really good classic chops in there. Just to like, as you mentioned, like beaten, bruised chest, possibly bleeding for Pat McAfee.
Even just
that would have added to it.
Like at any of the points when they were sort of bickering with each other, just the shh.
And then
whack. Because Pat took a lot of damage. Like he took a lot of hits.
Yeah.
I feel like he could have just taken one massive chop early and just lit up red. Like I think the best one I remember is Sheamus. The match with Sheamus and Gunther where Sheamus was just pink all across his chest. And I mean, it helps that he's as pale as your forehead is. But I think that would have been good for Pat to like really sell it. Because the rest of it was good. Like I mean, it was the match that we thought it was going to be. Gunther was just going to toy with him for a little bit. Pat was going to show spots of hope. Bang, chop him down.
Yeah, and that was what I really liked.
Spot of hope. Bang, chop him down.
Yeah, and those spots of hope where McAfee would hit some moves, Gunther would just be like, okay, he'd be back up, ready to go straight away.
Oh, that spot where Pat sort of got out of something and then rolled through him and then kicked him in the back, then kicked him in the chest, then punted him in the face, and Gunther just stood up and looked at him. And I was like, ooh, whoopsie.
Yeah, no, like he did the three kicks. Pat went for the pinfall, got a 1 count.
Oh, and then
then Gunther just like pops up and he's just like,
yeah, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah. And that seemed like probably like all that Pat could throw at him. And Pat was just like, oh shit, what happens now?
I think the biggest story out of this match was Michael Cole.
Yes. And you noticed it straight away. Michael Cole was up and he had his jacket off by the time this match started.
So
and
you
were like, oh, Michael's getting involved.
He's getting involved for sure. But like the way that Cole, even before this match started, said that he apologized to the fans and everyone and said, look, I'm going to be biased. Normally my commentary is to try and be as unbiased as possible and give you a proper, I'm going to be biased. I'm going for Pat. I don't want Gunther to win.
Yeah.
And so that meant that Wade had to kind of be a bit more of the logical, sounded mind on this match.
Yeah.
And I think it really worked.
They did really well as the commentary team for this whole pay-per-view, really.
Yep. And then, like, the amount of times when Gunther would, he'd hit Pat or he'd kick Pat in the head and knock him down, and he'd just turn and look at Cole.
Yeah.
The whole
just taunting him, and Cole's just like, just pin him, get it over with, stop.
Yeah. And then when he kept standing up and getting to the ring, and then Wade was like, I don't know what you're doing, Michael. You're a 58-year-old man. You shouldn't be in there. But that I think, I don't know if this, what happens now, right? I don't think this Gunther and commentators thing is finished. I think this Gunther is a bully thing continues.
And that was the really weird thing about the ending as well. So we had Michael Cole get involved. As Gunther's trying to do a suplex right near the ropes, Michael Cole grabbed him. Pat McAfee falls on for the pin count. But usually when you have those sorts of spots, that helps someone win the match. But Gunther still kicked out. Went to go after Michael. Pat tried to capitalize. And then we got Gunther choking out Pat McAfee.
Yep.
He fights back. And then he gets taken back down to the mat, and that was it. It's done. It was the odd show of respect from Gunther after the match. Yeah, and I think we were discussing it when it happened. Something just felt off about that. Gunther just kept like standing there, staring at the ref, like looking at the ref, looking at Pat, looking at Michael, and just like looking around.
It took too long.
Yeah, it was very drawn out, and then.
But I
don't even know what it wasn't even a handshake. It was just good work.
Yeah, respect.
But like still, just I don't know, it was weird. Didn't like it.
I feel like that whatever that wasn't very good. And then when he walked up the ramp, I was like, well, he's just gonna go back in and then, drop kick them both.
Yeah.
Nope,
nothing happened.
My worry to this and why this felt so flat to me was that you're going to come out on Raw and we're not turning Gunther face, right?
No.
And so he's not going to apologize and put over Pat for his massive match and everything. He's going to double down.
Better not.
He's going to have to double down and be a heel and be like, you didn't tap out to me, but you passed out because you're not in the same ring as me and blah, blah, blah. And Michael Cole sat there and you watched your best friend pass out. And, like, he's got to go dig into it. But if he's doing that, why did he try and shake his hand?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. I can't see what that part of the storyline makes any sense to.
No, I can't either.
It doesn't lead to a Michael Cole match. I don't think it leads to a Wade Barrett match because Wade didn't have any.
No, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't got physical.
Obviously the internet rumor is that someone's going to come back to stop the bully that is Gunther, and that's probably going to be Goldberg. But this didn't really set that up.
No, I think like knowing that rumor was floating around the internet, I was waiting for Goldberg's music to hit at some point while he was just beating down Pat McAfee and then dragging Michael Cole in the ring, about to give him a power bomb.
Yeah,
I was like, "What? That's where your music hits?" Nah, that was just Pat hitting his spot to save Michael.
Even if after the match, like if he goes to shake his hand and instead slaps him, and then power bombs him, and he drop kicks Michael Cole or just slap Cole and put him down, and then Gunther walks out as the heel that's getting booed out of the building because he's attacked the two commentators. And then when he comes out on Raw, that's when the person can make a save. That's fine. I'm all for that. But just finishing this as soft as they did, with Pat standing up at the end of it, waving to the crowd, putting everything over, I don't understand it. I don't see why that had to be the finish.
Especially having it be Gunther going against Pat.
Yeah.
Like if it was, to use the term loosely, lesser wrestler.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
no, I know what you mean. Like
Gunther's, Gunther's brutal, right? Like, we know he can absolutely demolish people. If it was someone less physically imposing than Gunther against Pat, that would have made more sense. But because Gunther's so physically dominating, having Pat stand up and do that, I feel like kind of no-sold the match and Gunther's brutality as a whole.
A little bit, yeah, I think so. And the fact that you had on Raw when he choked him out a couple of weeks ago for less time, let's be honest, Pat couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
We couldn't stand up, walk all the way back, coughing and spluttering. And this time he's just up. So look, let us know in the comments if you liked the ending of this match or not. And where do you think this goes with Gunther? Because I enjoyed the match. The premise was what I thought it was going to be, but the ending of it fell flat for me.
Speaking of flat, someone with this next match ended up on the flat of their back several times with a few RKOs and some attitude adjustments. It's John Cena versus Randy Orton.
What a segue, Reece. I'm so proud of you. That was really well done.
Was it?
No, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, okay, good. I fumbled around that one big time.
But falling flat was that segue.
Yes.
Look, the main event, it took forever for them both to get to the ring to start with.
Yeah, Randy took his sweet time. Well, I'm going to give that one to him.
It was in St. Louis. Yeah. Like, the match itself was nearly half an hour. The crowd was
hugely behind Randy Orton, like, obviously, but, like, singing his song.
Yeah.
Next to the European crowds, that's the loudest an American crowd has ever been singing someone's theme song.
Yeah, as it should be. It's Randy's hometown. The match itself, look, the first 15 minutes was holds and punches.
But I expected this because this is what
absolutely.
John Cena and Randy Orton
But what
do.
I didn't expect was that it was Randy.
Yeah.
So all of their matches in the past, you've always had Randy working over a leg, Randy working over a chin lock, Randy doing headlocks, because that's how the heel plays the match. But this time it was Randy running it as the face, and it just didn't. And like there was a point early on where they were like going for a chin lock, and then they reversed into a chin lock, and then they reversed into a chin lock.
Bounce off the rope, and it's a chin lock. Bounce off the rope, another chin lock.
I know what they were doing. They were obviously, paying homage to their previous matches, but I feel like they just went a little bit too far.
And I feel like that's what they did with a lot of these spots.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, just like recalling spots from their previous matches.
Which is the one I loved. The one I told you was going to happen.
You called it because you mentioned it not long before the match actually started.
So I'd forgotten that this was even a spot. So I can't remember. There was like there was two spots that I thought of. There was one where like on Instagram, I think I saw a reel that was like Randy's top 5 RKOs, and one of them was against John Cena, where he RKOs him through a table. Yeah. And Randy says, well, that one hurts me more because I was the one that goes through the table, not John. But they showed in that montage period a bunch of RKOs between him and Cena.
Yeah.
And one of them that I'd never paid attention to or never thought I'd seen before was when John hits the 5 moves of Doom. And he goes shoulder block, spinning backbreaker, 5-knuckle shuffle, AA, right?
Yeah.
The second shoulder block, he goes for it and Randy caught him and RKO'd him. And I was like, God, that was a sick spot. Well, so well timed. Gotta hope they do that in this match.
What did you get? We got that. I'm going to quickly run down because I took the occurrences of what happened.
Of the finishes?
Right? Yes. So we had the RKO out of the AA, which they showed
where they
both
promos. Got themselves. So that was 2 finishes, right?
Yes, technically.
Yep.
I feel like it was just an RKO.
No,
but
Randy stayed down. That was both.
So we had the double finish.
Yep.
And then we had an AA. And then we had the RKO out of the shoulder tackle.
Yep.
And then another AA. And then we got to our first ref bump.
Yeah, the first one in the ring.
Yeah, first one in the ring. We got an AA. We got an RKO. And then they managed to get outside of the ring, and we got the second ref bump against the stairs.
Which was a solid ref bump too.
His head went straight into those stairs. Props to him, because he was out for 10 minutes.
I mean, if I headbutted a set of metal stairs, I'd be out for 10 minutes too.
I reckon I could take it.
You reckon you could?
Yeah, I reckon.
Can we test this theory, please?
Yeah, we could.
Okay, all right, sweet.
We could. We'll talk to Slim. We'll set something up.
Get some stairs.
We then had Randy give John Cena an AA on the announce table, which then
didn't break.
Delayed, broken. And then he got an actual table out and did another AA. And I was like, oh, here's where like John Cena's going to do the RKO to Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. No, we didn't get that. We get back in the ring. We have an RKO from Randy Orton.
Yep.
The second referee comes out. And then we have not had any 3 counts yet, obviously. And then the second ref gets taken out with the title shot because Cena gets back up. He gets the belt. Just the way that he ran at Randy. Like John Cena was just like, and he just like ran past Randy and just like hit the ref. It looked so comical. I loved it.
Copped that one.
Yeah, he did. And then all the officials came out straight away.
Oh, this was fun.
After that, RKO to John Cena.
And you've got all the officials running out, and Nick Aldis, rather than running in to count a 3 count because Randy is on top of John Cena. No, I'm going to go check on my referee because it's my match official. What's going on? Like, first of all, we know there's Jess and there's the other female referee that was on tonight. Like, you've got more refs out the back. Bring one of them with you.
Yeah.
Let them count the 3 and then deal with your referee. Nick Aldis, you terrible commissioner.
So we had Nick Aldis and 4 officials.
Yeah, and then there was Petey. There was Jamie Noble. Was Hurricane there? And Jason Jordan? Because Jason Jordan was there early in the night.
Yeah, maybe. I think it was.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But yeah, had all the officials out there. And then we got 5 consecutive RKOs. Nick Aldis. And then each of the 4 officials that had come out to help the referee. Mm-hmm. Loved it. And then...
And Jamie Noble was the last one, and he was standing in the corner being like, no, me.
And then Randy's on top. Cena's laid out in the corner. And he's lining up that punt for the second time tonight. Mm-hmm. And then...
we saw some...
we saw someone with dreadlocks slide into the ring that had darker skin. And we were like, shit, it's fucking Travis Scott. No, it was R-Truth. R-Truth came out to stop John Cena getting punted in the head by Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. And then R-Truth pops out of the ring and... No, he got the RKO. He got an
Randy
RKO.
RKO'd him.
He's out of the ring. Randy's looking over the ring ropes like,
what are you doing?
Why'd you do this? What are you doing? Boom! Low blow. Title shot. 1, 2, 3. A very delayed count from the ref too. He took his time crawling over
This will be the finish of every John Cena match. You're not getting a finish with an AA. You're not getting a finish with an SDFU. He is...
Title blow.
Nut shot, title shot, 1, 2, 3. Done. Every time.
Oh, just how long it took the ref to crawl over.
And then at the end of it where John gets the mic and then just says that, none of you deserve this. It's your own fault, St. Louis.
This is what a real
real champion looks like.
And then we were like, oh.
Well, because he said, I need challenges. There's no
I need competition.
I need competition.
And I was like, oh, what? Because everyone's like, oh, Cody's returning at Backlash this weekend. No, we didn't get it.
No, we got nothing. And then the lights
we just got Jeff Cobb. Yeah.
But then at the post-match press conference, this is where the story, if you didn't see that, continues. So Triple H was talking about, it's the highest grossing domestic Backlash ever. We sold this many tickets, blah, 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 blah. Nothing of great excitement. Jacob Fatu was on there. He's not very good when he is not a scripted promo. You know what I mean? Then John Cena just sort of walked up to Triple H and was like, and Triple H was like, oh, well, wasn't expecting John Cena here, but when the greatest of all time wants to talk, we'll let him talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Cena.
So then John Cena sits down and says, look, I think I need to walk the talk, was what he said.
Walk the talk.
And I need to be a bit better. If I am the last real champion, I need to, treat the media and those of you in this room with a bit more respect. So I will answer all of your questions tonight, and I'll behave. First question, and ladies, like, you and Randy have been through so much in your careers. Did you guys have a moment backstage? How did you take that match?
Then you hear someone.
Where is he? Where's John? I just want to talk to John.
R-Truth comes out at the press conference, talks to John Cena. He's like, I don't care what everyone's been saying. I still support you. Never give up. Always supported you, even if they do say that you suck and you can't wrestle. And the fact that he called him Ron.
Yeah.
Ron, that was out of line. If you say another word, there will be consequences.
There will be repercussions.
Repercussions, sorry. And then he said more words.
And he was just like, I just wanted to say, all right.
AA through the table. There will be no more questions. Walks out. I know. Saturday night's main event. John Cena versus R-Truth. Confirmed.
Sign me up for it, to be fair.
I'm not going to be here. That's why I'm in Japan.
I think that would be a fun enough match that we get, Truth getting a match against Cena, because that's what a lot of people will want to see.
Yeah.
I think it'll be really fun to watch Truth hit the 5 moves of doom on Cena. I think that they can have some really fun battles on the mic, but like Truth can be like, I know what you're doing, man. Like, I'm your greatest supporter. John Cena's the greatest. And Cena just absolutely belittle him and just destroy him. Like he says to all the kids, your dad sucks and your dad's a loser. He's going to say that straight to R-Truth's face.
Yeah.
And then you can have a really fun match with him. And at the end of that 3 weeks, nothing has changed and nobody cares.
Yeah.
But that was quite fun.
Yeah.
Just give us that little bit of a match because we're not getting Cody. We're not getting,
It's way too early for Cody to come back.
But it's too early for anyone of consequence to have that match with Cena, right? Like you were saying before, you're rattling off the list of things. I think, you're going to have a Miz match at some point.
Yeah.
Truth. Then you got your big hitters. Then you got your Punks. Then you got your Codys. Then you got your Romans. Those all need time to make sense.
Yeah.
Truth. Give it a couple of weeks. That's fun.
Boom, done.
Miz you can do in Paris because who cares,
well,
right? Unless you want AJ.
Yeah.
Right? But I think that, a short feud for a couple of weeks to set up who else needs to fit around this world title scene. If you want Drew McIntyre and Cody to sort of get up there, or you want Randy to do something with someone else, then cool. John can just hang out with R-Truth for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Overall, Backlash was pretty mid.
Yeah.
Nothing of great notice actually happened. So if you skipped it,
you're not missing much.
You can watch this
missing
video
a couple of good matches, but other than that, didn't miss much. Didn't miss any amazing title changes because none of them happened.
Yeah, which I really thought Becky was going to win. I was pretty determined that she was going to win that title. Because Lyra's done, let's be fair, Lyra's done nothing with it since she won it.
No. And it's only now that she's like getting good with it. That's because Becky's involved.
Get good, scrub.
Bird person. We're going to wrap it up there. Thank you for tuning in and watching us down under the mat. This has been Mr. Dan Danielson. I have been Rowdy Roddy Reece. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on all of our social media channels. What are we doing? The Gunther show of respect. Great. Like and follow, subscribe. Thank you, and we will see you next time down under the mat. Too sweet.